Hello, 12th graders, and welcome to your senior year, the year where you will be definitely shaping your future. Okay, as you guys probably know, our mission at ISI as teachers and as management is to provide you with the best innovative quality education and knowledge that will help you pursue your future goals. It is a unique school. We use different tools, we use technology in order to make sure that education is accessible to our students in different ways and in the best ways. Now, as 12th graders in the domain of life sciences, your English language, of course, will be tailored to this particular field, okay? So it will include themes that pertain to sciences, okay, and scientific field generally, most of them, not all, of course. The vocab words and terms that you will learn this year are indispensable to you. You will definitely use them in your future career and higher education, and you will learn skills that will help you better analyze and comprehend a given text. So I hope we have a great and fulfilling year together. Now, this is an overview of the curriculum. The curriculum is what you will be taking during the course of this year. First of all, as you all know, we have reading comprehension skills and strategies. And by the way, guys, the grade 11 and grade 12 curriculum, scientific, are very, very similar. We just are going to take things more in depth this year. Okay, the concepts are going to be of a higher level because you are in a higher grade. The reading comprehension skills and strategies, you've taken all of those last year, but as I said, we will take them in a little more in depth. Title, the significance of a title to a text. The thesis statement, is it implicit? Is it explicit? Can you write the thesis statement after you read a given text? This is what I'm going to teach you. Types of introduction, remember? Patterns of organization in a paragraph or in a sentence. The thematic relationship between the paragraphs. How does the author link the paragraphs together? Audience, what type of audience would be interested in reading an article about water pollution in Lebanon, for example? Author's tone, how does the author sound in the text? And as you remember, the author's tone is written in adjective form, and I will generally be asking you to write 2 different tones that the author uses in a specific paragraph or a text. Author's purpose, what was the author's objective or goal or purpose behind writing a given text? Summarize, of course, remember very well in summarize and paraphrase that we used a certain method. We need to include citation. In paragraph 3 of the article entitled The Endangered Turtles of Lebanon, comma, the author explains that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now, types of supporting evidence. As you recall, in order to be credible, believable to your reader, you need to use evidence. I can't just write an article about smoking or water pollution. Oh, water pollution is very bad in Lebanon. Its waters are polluted. The Mediterranean is polluted because of activities done in Lebanon. Okay, what activities? What statistics do you have? What studies do you have? Have you quoted an expert? Have you given a real-life example? Those need to be included in every text that is supposed to be credible or objective. Analyze a chart, table, or graph. Remember, we did that a lot last year. I'm going to go through it again this year, of course. Types of linking hooks or cohesive links. Again, does the author link the paragraphs or ideas within a paragraph indirectly or directly? You will take those, how the author links them. And of course, figures of speech, simile, metaphor, personification, paradox, etc. Moving on. Now, writing strategies. Writing, the same as last year, of course, a little more in depth, of course. First of all, you will we will revise together how to write a well-organized essay. Again, in grades 10 through 12, our essays are of 5 paragraphs and 5 paragraphs only. Okay? We will learn how to we will identify the different types of writing and the characteristics of each type. But we will not take all of them this year. This is what we will be taking: expository writing, and those are the types that we will be taking. Cause effect, of course, causes and effects of plastic pollution in the waters of Lebanon, for example. Problem solution essay, the problem of global warming and what's been done about it. Advantages and disadvantages. Advantages and disadvantages of using social media, for example. Illustration and example essay is you have this idea, for example, you want to talk about robotics, okay? It's not advantages or disadvantages or problem of solutions. You want to explain or talk about robotics in the operating room. So this essay will basically be about what it is. You explain, you illustrate. Illustrate means explaining by giving examples. The next type of essay we'll be taking, of course, we did take it last year, argumentative writing, where you have to write a good claim, which is your thesis. Add the last sentence of the first paragraph. Support your claim with evidence. Write an appropriate refutation paragraph, or where you write the counterclaim, the claim of your opponent, and then you refute it. Okay, you write a rebuttal paragraph, and then a captivating conclusion. Now, what's the difference between argumentative writing and persuasive writing, which we will be taking towards the end? In argumentative writing, you have to write both points of views. You will have a refutation paragraph where you state the opponent's point of view. In a persuasive essay, you only write your own point of view. 5 paragraphs, introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and each body paragraph you support and back your claim. You're not obliged, you don't list your or put your opponent's ideas or claims. Of course, just as the argumentative essay, you need a strong conclusion to persuade your reader. And of course, also in an argumentative essay, you need a captivating and strong conclusion. Moving on, our first theme is environmental issues. One of the central themes in your life sciences curriculum. First of all, our modern world is plagued, haunted by various environmental issues such as global warming, air pollution, water pollution, wildfires, and land pollution. Unfortunately, our country is not immune to such issues. In fact, it's at the center of all this. We suffer from so many severe environmental issues, all of them, name it, and it's here. Look at the wildfires that are increasing year by year. The floods are increasing. Garbage pollution everywhere. Water pollution. Can you eat a meal of fish in Lebanon without feeling guilty? Because it's definitely full of microplastics. So we are suffering from environmental issues. It does pertain to us as a nation. Our first lesson will be about sea pollution in Lebanon. Moving on. The reading skills and strategies that you will be taking for this chapter, they are on page 66 through 17 in your ebook. They are written very clearly, very thoroughly, okay? So whenever you want to answer a question that's related to reading skills and strategies, I can just flip back to the pages and take a look. Are they asking me about patterns of organization? Let me go back in the book and see what they say about it. So it's very helpful to be included in the book, and that's why I did that. For this chapter, significance of a title, thesis, implicit, explicit, or state your own thesis, types of introduction, patterns of organization, chart analysis, author's credibility, types of audience. Most of you will find that all you need is a little bit of revising, because those ideas or those concepts have been all taken very thoroughly last year. Now, and before every chapter, I included a vocab list and I called it Words and Terms to Know, because I find that in every text, especially the ones I'm giving you, there are some blocking words. What does it mean to have a blocking word in the text? If I don't understand this word, I don't understand this concept or this whole paragraph. So I made a list, a vocab list of words and terms in order to help you better comprehend the text that you will read. The test-taking strategies or the reading strategies we talked about, titles and subtitles. What is a title? I'll go through them with you very quickly, and you guys will be home reading them very thoroughly before you do the assignment I'm going to give you for this week. Titles and subtitles. Remember, a title is written by authors to identify their work, place it in a certain context, and present a mini summary of the content in order to pique the reader's curiosity. Pique the reader's curiosity means to arouse the reader's curiosity. Sample questions. How do I ask questions, or how does the official exam ask questions about authors, the author's title? How does the title reflect the main idea of the text? For example, the title Litani's Water Pollution is a condensed summary. We took this term last year, condensed, concentrated, of the main idea of the text, which is further developed and explained in the body paragraphs. Or I might ask it in a different way. Do you find the writer of the above article successful in his or her choice of the title? Yes, the author is successful in his or her choice of the title, Litani's Water Pollution, since it reflects the main idea of the text, which is about the water pollution issues of the Litani River. These ideas are further developed and explained in the body paragraph. Remember, guys, your answers need to be precise and detailed, okay? Why does the author use subtitles? Okay, you have a big title and you have a small title under it. Why? What purpose do the subtitles serve? The subtitle adds more information and facilitates the reader's work. Let's say I am talking about different effects of junk food on teenagers. That my main title will be Effects of Junk Food on Teenagers. The subtitles would be like what? Type 2 diabetes, obesity, depression, etc. Those would be the subtitles. What they help me do is categorize and facilitate the information for my reader. Okay? Moving on, the thesis statement, guys, we already talked about this a lot last year. This thesis statement is either explicit, meaning it is directly stated, it is there. You pick it and you write it. The thesis statement is full stop. Or it's not directly stated, it is implicit, implied by the author. This means direct, this means implied or indirect. How do I ask such a question? Which sentence reflects the thesis statement? Okay, this means that the thesis statement is explicit, it's direct and stated. You write it for me and you justify. Why do you think this is the thesis statement? You tell me that because it reflects the main idea of the text. You don't stop there. It reflects the main idea of the text, which is about types of diseases related to obesity, for example, full stop. So I know that this article or essay will be about types of diseases related to obesity. Okay? Now, another way I might ask the question. The opening paragraph of the above text does not seem to contain a clear thesis statement. Reread the paragraph and skim through the text to supply your own thesis statement. This is not an easy question because here you have to read the whole text thoroughly in order to come up with the main idea. Okay? And this is another type of way or method I would ask you this question. The thesis statement in the above text is implied. Skim the text and then supply an appropriate thesis statement. How would you answer? An appropriate thesis statement would be, okay, the main idea. This thesis statement reflects the main idea of the whole text, which focuses on, here you put the main idea, of course. Such an idea is fully elaborated. Elaborated means discussed, okay, in the body paragraphs. Now, the introduction and the conclusion, how are they related? We know very well that the conclusion generally restates the main idea written in the introduction. Okay, now we're going to talk about the different types of introduction. One of the very common questions, organizational questions that you will be asked is, what type of introduction does the author use in the article? What purposes does this method serve? Now, the following are the 5 most common types of introduction: anecdote, or as you would like to say, a brief narration or a small story with an interesting event that whose aim is to grab the reader's attention or to entertain. Historical introduction, for example, you're talking about football. You start with a date, a given date. 19th football was first played in England. Okay, so this would be a historical introduction. General to specific. If you're talking about plastic pollution in water, how would you start? You would start with pollution in general, then water pollution, then plastic pollution in the waters of Lebanon. General to specific, sort of like a funnel. Interesting facts and statistics. This is a very common type of introduction also, and the aim is to grab the reader's attention. If I tell you that, I state that 80% of the girls in this nation marry before the age of 18. This is how I start my introduction. Here, what I used is an interesting or a shocking fact, if you want, or statistic to grab the reader's attention in order to read more into the article. The author might also start with a series of questions, one or several questions. Also, why? What is the purpose of that? The purpose of that is to grab the reader's attention to find the answers to those questions, okay, in the article. How do I ask questions about the introduction? Here, 1. What type of introduction does the writer use? How does this type affect the reader? In the text entitled Early Marriage Among Females in Developing Nations, the author begins her article with an interesting fact, which is that 29% of girls in Bangladesh married before the age of 15. By the way, this is a correct statistic, and 65% married before the age of 18. This method serves to capture the reader's attention, arouse their curiosity, and introduce the main idea of the text, which is about early marriage in developing countries. Alternatively, I might say, what is the function of the first paragraph in the above text? And this is how you will answer it. Remember, please, if anything is unclear to you, you can go back to the ebook and read it on your own time, read it thoroughly, and if you have any questions, we can discuss it in our live meetings. Okay, again, what purposes does the introductory paragraph serve? Whenever you answer a type of introduction question, I need 2 or 3 purposes. Never less than 2. I will specify, by the way. I might ask you for 2 purposes. If I don't ask you for 2 purposes, then you have to list 3 purposes. Okay? Now, this is a very interesting question here concerning introduction and conclusion. In what way or ways are the introductory and the concluding paragraphs of the above text thematically related? Explain. The introductory paragraph, as I said before, introduces the topic and presents the thesis statement, which focuses on, for let's say, early marriage among girls in developing countries. The concluding paragraph restates the same idea, gives a final opinion, and leaves the reader with future expectations. In this sense, the 2 paragraphs are thematically related. Generally, the concluding paragraph restates what has been said in the introduction, the main idea. Okay? Another way I would ask it, what is the importance of the concluding paragraph? The concluding paragraph restates the same idea introduced in the introductory paragraph and presented by the thesis statement, which focuses on early marriage among girls in developing countries. It also gives a final opinion and leaves the reader with future expectations. Patterns of organization. How is the paragraph organized? Okay. Refers to how information is structured or organized in a certain paragraph. The author uses different patterns to organize his or her ideas. For example, Jacob worked very hard during that time period in order to finish his degree and become a computer engineer. Because of this, mind the clues, because of his perseverance, meaning willpower and hard work, he graduated from college with a high distinction. So obviously in the above paragraph, what is the pattern of organization? It's cause-effect. Here are other patterns of organization. Exemplification. The author provides an idea and gives example. The clue words would be, for example, for instance, such as the case of, etc. Definition. Malnutrition, for example. In this paragraph, the author is talking about malnutrition. Malnutrition means, okay, the lack of taking enough nutrients that will help in growth and health. So obviously the pattern here in this paragraph or in this sentence is one of definition. The author is defining a term or a concept. Comparison, where the author compares two different things. The clue words would be similarly, likewise, also, like, alike, etc. Contrast, the differences between two ideas. Clues, but, yet, however, nevertheless, though, even though, whereas, while. Cause-effect, just like the one we just talked about. Listing or classification, this is a common one too, where you list several ideas, okay? Doctors, for example, here, doctors consider three main symptoms that indicate the presence of diabetes. Diabetes is high blood sugar, constant fatigue, dry mouth, and frequent urination. When I asked you about the pattern of organization, you tell me the author uses listing or classification, where he or she lists the symptoms indicating the presence of diabetes. Okay? In the listing, they all have to be either nouns or adjectives or verbs. All of them have to be the same part of speech. Okay? You can't have a verb and a noun in a listing. The list all has to be the same, similar. Okay? Another one, time or chronological order, where you are telling about something that happened, okay, first and then later and then after that. Okay, those are the clue words. You know that this is in the pattern of organization is either time or chronological order. Okay. This is how I'm going to ask you the questions. What pattern of organization does the writer use in the above paragraph? Explain. Explain means tell me what led you, what clue words or what evidence led you to choose this. Credibility and objectivity. Okay, the author uses different means, as I talked about previously, to achieve credibility. Credibility is defined as being trusted or believed. I want to write an article about pollution. I need to be credible. People need to believe me. Okay, please read this thoroughly in the book when after we finish this lecture. Three major means of support. There are three major ways in which the author achieves credibility, objectivity, and authenticity. Authenticity being real. Okay, objectivity, not taking sides, credibility, being believable. We usually use those three together, okay? They generally mean the same thing. Facts and statistics, three ways to gain credibility, objectivity, and authenticity. Facts and statistics, real life examples, and expert opinion or witness testimony and statement of authority. Okay, I want to talk about the devastating effects of the hurricane that happened in Alabama last year. I would go talk to a witness to talk about its severity. What happened to this witness? Was his or her house devastated? What happened? Did the flooding engulf the whole area, etc.? This would help you achieve credibility, of course, or statement of an authority. An authority is like an official, okay, someone of importance who has a certain ranking in society or in the government. An expert would be like a doctor or a scientist in that field. In the case of an earthquake, I would interview a seismologist or a person who studies earthquakes. Okay? Sample questions. How does the writer of the above article achieve credibility and objectivity? Illustrate with specific examples. Of course, you need to tell me. Okay? The writer achieves credibility and objectivity by using proper means of support such as facts and statistics, where she gave us statistics about early marriage, etc. Please state one or two of those statistics. She also uses a real-life example where she talked about Sila, real-life example, a girl whose parents married her off when she was only 13 and died later due to complications related to abortion. I stated a real-life example, okay, to support my point. Finally, she quoted she took the opinion of an expert, of a forensics doctor. You know, the doctor that arrives after a crime scene, or that needs to take a look at the dead body and how that person died. We call them forensics doctors. They work with the police generally, who examined Sila, talked about the dangers of early marriage. Through these types of supporting evidence, the author achieved credibility, objectivity, and authenticity. Please use those three together. You can also use accuracy instead of one of them, okay? You can say credibility, objectivity, and accuracy, but they all mean the same, okay? I might also ask you the question in an inverted way. The author relies a lot on real-life examples. Why does he do that? You tell me the author relies a lot on real-life examples in order to gain credibility, objectivity, and accuracy. Full stop. Moving on. Statistics and chart analysis. In order to answer questions where we have tables and charts, we need to do the following. Let's take a look at the chart here. The chart below, first of all, you need to read this very well. The chart below depicts research results of the preferred social media platforms among US teens in 2008. YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, okay, etc. There they are. This is a bar graph with percentages. Okay. Now, when you are given such a chart, you are asked to analyze it and draw a conclusion about it. So these are the steps you should take in order to answer such a question every time. I specified this every time. This question, the answer will be made of 3 parts, all in one single paragraph, okay? Topic sentence. Where do I get my topic sentence from? Here. From here, and write it into the sentence, okay? The chart below depicts research results of the preferred social media platforms among US teens in 2018, full stop. This is the first part of my chart. Okay, I got the points. Here it is. Now, analysis, I need to take a look at analyze the numbers. In this part, you interpret, analyze what you read in the chart, percentages, proportions, numbers, etc. The most popular social media platform in this study is YouTube. Give the percentage, as I did in brackets, followed by Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, all with the notice with the percentages in brackets, respectively. What do I mean by respectively? Consecutively, after each other, in the order that they were put or depicted in the bar graph. Conclusion, this is the last part. I need to conclude one way. What does this tell you? Okay, conclusion, thus, we have to write the word thus. Thus, and then we conclude. Okay, thus we conclude that social media platforms are immensely popular among teens, greatly popular, with YouTube at the top and Reddit at the bottom of the list. Okay, now the answer will be this way, in one single paragraph. The chart depicts research results of the preferred social media platforms among teens in the US in 2018, part 1. You got the points here. The analysis, okay, respectively, and your conclusion, and this is it. Okay? Make sure you go back to the ebook and read it very thoroughly. The audience, okay, you write a certain article, okay? As an author, you have a certain audience in your mind. We write for a given audience, for 1, 2, 3 audiences, okay? So my question would be, name 2 types of audience who might be interested in reading the article, Adolescent Sleep Cycles and School Timing. What is their interest? Again and again, I want you to be specific. Please don't say doctors. This is very general. What type of doctors? Psychiatrists, pediatricians, doctors who treat children. What types of doctors? Governments. No, I will not accept that question, because also it's not detailed enough, and on the official exams, they will not accept it. Okay, so governments what? Governments, or let's say in governments in the Department of Education, because this is related to teenage sleeping cycles and the fact that you should not go early to school. So the government officials in the Department of Education in the US, let's say the article was written in the US, okay? So you need to be very specific. You tell me that government officials in the Department of Education in the US, why are they interested in it? Okay, great. Why are they interested in it? Their interest would be to make sure that there is make sure that teenagers lead healthy lives, okay, etc. Thematic relation between paragraphs. How are paragraphs related? Again, in one paragraph, for example, the author would be providing an idea, and then he would compare it to another one in the other paragraph, between paragraphs, using words like similarly, likewise, same, like, both. Idea contrast, the author would be providing one idea in the paragraph 2, and he is contrasting it or providing the opposite in the other paragraph, the next paragraph. Clue words would be, on the other hand, however, yet, but, nevertheless, in contrast. Problem solution, in one paragraph the author is providing the problem, for example, the problem of pollution from farms, okay, pollution of the river from farms, and in the next paragraph he would be providing the solution to this issue. Addition and reinforcement. Okay, the author would provide an idea in one paragraph and then supports it or adds more to it in the next paragraph. Paragraph 1 could be discussing higher rates of obesity among teens in Lebanon, and in paragraph 2 he supports his idea with a research result. He is reinforcing or supporting his idea, okay? Moving on, question answer. In one paragraph the author asks a question, and in the other one he answers it. Cause-effect relationship, very common. Okay, one paragraph he's talking about the causes of obesity, the other one he is discussing the effects. This is how we would ask such questions. How are paragraphs 1 and 2 thematically related, etc. Please go through them. Now, words and terms to know. Let me explain them with you before you read the text which I will assign for you. Urban. We took this last year. Urban, of or relating to a large city. Okay. Urbanization, the quality or state of being urbanized or becoming city-like. In most countries around the world, Generally, in developing countries, there is a movement of urbanization. People are moving from the rural, the opposite of urban is rural, R-U-R-A-L, from rural areas to urban areas, city, urban related to the city, for better jobs, better lives, etc. Mediterranean Sea. The Mediterranean Sea is a sea bordering Lebanon from the west. Okay. Remember, we write it with one T and two R's. Okay. And both the M and the S, Mediterranean Sea, need to be capitalized. What does the word mitigation mean? Word number 3. Mitigation, making something less harmful, alleviating. Okay. On the box of the Panadol, they say it alleviates headaches, make it better, or okay, or less severe. When you clean the coast every month or so, you are mitigating the problem, alleviating it. Coastline, a line that forms a boundary between the land and the water, the shores, the beaches. Okay. Inevitable, when something is inevitable, it's bound to happen, it's going to happen, and you cannot avoid it. With all the types of pollution going on, especially air pollution, global warming is bound to happen or bound to increase. Okay, it is inevitable, cannot be avoided. Toxin is a poison or poisonous material like mercury or lead. Deteriorating means becoming worse. Crisis is a catastrophe or a very difficult or dangerous situation. Global warming is a crisis. Wildfires that are taking place around the world increasingly are a crisis. COVID-19 is a crisis. Expatriates. Okay, patriots, patriots, people of a certain nation. EX means outside. So, people living outside their native country. There are many Lebanese expatriates in Africa and Europe and America and South America. Okay, those are called expatriates. Finally, this is what I want you to do after reading all this and discussing all this with you. I would like you to read pages 19 and 20 of your ebook available in the library, which you have the link of, and answer exercises on page 12. Very nice exercises, very simple. We discussed all of them. In case you have any questions, we can discuss them on Zoom Live, of course, or during my office hours. So take care.